We have Joe Golson, our board member, who's really stepped up and really changed and encouraged the direction of the association. He's going to present to you the strategic plan. Thank you, Joe.
Good morning. The plan was distributed to the board, so I won't go through, in the interest of time, I won't go through the entire process, but I wanted to give you an idea of the thought processes that we used in developing the plan, the mission statement, the vision statement, the goals and objectives. In February 2020, TPEA staff began negotiating with a consulting firm to help lead the strategic planning efforts. Then the pandemic hit, and the TPEA put hiring an outside consultant on hold. TPEA staff continued to discuss the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of the association as they made plans to transition to a new way of working during the pandemic. During the summer of 2020, TPEA staff contacted members and asked for volunteers to help develop a strategic plan. 7 members answered the call. The TPEA Strategic Planning Committee, led by co-chairs Eddie Reyes and myself. Members George Ebert, Kerry Summerfield, Ted Miller, Victorino Casas, and Vernon Pittman met 25 times and spent 26 hours writing the TPEA strategic plan. The committee employed members and non-member surveys and focus groups and a TPEA board of director workshop to aid in the plan's development. The strategic planning committee is proud to present this plan to the board for approval and adoption. The first process we went through was identifying and looking at our vision statement and our mission statement. Now, a vision statement is a statement or a document that states the current and future objectives of an organization. So after our discussions, we came up with what we thought is the vision of the plan. And that vision is that state of Texas employees and retirees are respected and properly compensated for their dedicated service. That's our vision. The next would be development of a mission statement. And again, a mission statement is a single sentence or short paragraph that is used by an organization to explain its purpose. So that's TPEA's purpose. So simply put, our mission is to preserve and enhance the salary and benefits of state employees and retirees. So those are the mission statements and the vision statement that we've developed. The next step was doing the SWOT analysis. I mentioned earlier, the SWOT analysis is identifying an organization's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. From those sessions, we determined that our primary function as an organization is to advocate on behalf of our members. This led us to the decision to solicit feedback from our members. This was done through a member survey. The survey, we knew what we expected, but there were some surprises that we addressed in developing the goals and objectives. As expected, an overwhelming majority of the survey respondents, 94%, said that TPEA's top priority should continue to be representing the interests of the state employees and retirees before the legislature. 64% said the TPEA's role of keeping members informed about legislative issues, especially related to their insurance and retirement benefits, was also an important function. Although our members understood TPEA's advocacy role, the survey revealed that our members were not adequately informed about ERS's role and their agency's role when it comes to proposed legislation. Many members believe that ERS and their state agency leadership team is advocating on their behalf with political leaders. In reality, state agencies are strictly prohibited from lobbying for or against any legislation and can provide only neutral information to the legislature about the programs and their employees. This makes it more even more critical that TPA continues to represent employees and retirees at the Capitol. It's also critical that that TPA makes a concerted effort to eliminate this confusion on the part of employees and retirees. Members expressed strong interest in learning more about how they can influence the legislative process, but many state employees say that they're afraid of losing their jobs if they testify for salary or benefit increases. Survey evidence shows that retirees who no longer need to worry about their job status tend to be more engaged in the legislative process, both in Austin and at their local level. So that was the development of goal number 1, to provide effective, independent, nonpartisan advocacy. The objective, TPA has set an ambitious target on how often staff and board members are expected to meet with political leadership, both in Austin and at the local level. TPA is committed to involving its members in building a legislative agenda prior to each session, and will develop training curriculum to teach members how to advocate legally and effectively with legislative and elected officials. The committee then considered how TPA how to strengthen the influence at the Capitol. We determined that increasing membership would be one of the most important ways. When TPEA staff and the executive director call on legislators, they will be taken more seriously if they can say TPEA represent a large percentage of state employees as members, and here's how many are in your district. So that has more pull than going in and saying we have 8,000 spread out throughout the state. That doesn't make that much of an impact. So if we can increase our membership numbers, I think that will have much greater impact when we talk to the legislature. So that led to goal number 2. Goal number 2 is to grow and stabilize membership numbers. The objective, TPA will create membership development plan to recruit new members with a goal of increasing overall membership by 10% each year. This will be accomplished through targeted regional events. They focus on converting drop members to an associate membership level and ensuring that the retiring employees know about TPA retirement membership benefits through the TPA and the various programs that are available to them. TDCGA recruitment will shift to employees with more than 1 year of service. I'll get in a little bit more detail on why we're doing it that way. The TPA will create a new corporate sponsorship level to give Texas businesses the opportunity to support state workers as well. The survey revealed that another top member priority is receiving up-to-date news and communications about critical issues affecting state employees and retirees. In the survey, real differences emerged in the preferences of newer TPA members versus long-term members. For example, new members want weekly or even daily communications through a variety of social media outlets, while 84% of our long-term employees or members prefer monthly email newsletters. Active employees are also more likely to be interested in TPA's discount programs, social events, member highlights, and networking opportunities. So goal number 3 is to engage and motivate members through targeted communication. The objectives, TPA will increase its posts on Facebook and Twitter to build followers and likes, and will increase the number of members signed up for text alerts. The recent member survey will be repeated every 2 years to help target member needs and focus on TPA's advocacy agenda. Surveys will ensure that monthly programming is responsive to member interest and honors the diversity of active and retired workers. TPA will make it easier for members to sign on to the website for legislative updates and communications about TPA services and benefits. TPA has always work with state agency management. Since the larger agencies provide the largest number of potential members, much of the effort has focused on the larger agencies. This plan will continue, but staff will work with smaller agencies and will target agencies where we don't have members at this point. So goal number 4 is to build relationships with state agencies. The objective, TPEA will meet with the executive staff of 10 state agencies each year to educate them on TPEA's benefits, and will communicate twice yearly with key state agency officials. TPEA will target agency efforts to add members from agencies not currently represented in the membership, and will visit local state agency offices in 10 regional areas across the state. From a financial standpoint, COVID-19 negatively impacted TPEA's operations, and membership declined as recruitment activities like local chapter and agency events were paused. Member dues are the primary source of income, so TPEA has had to be more creative in its outreach and reaching members virtually. This strategy shift is timely, as members say that they want to receive communications through more diverse range of social media. Another reason for declining membership is TPEA's focus in recent years on recruiting new Texas Department of Criminal Justice employees. Although most TDCJ employees have joined, this group also has one of the highest turnover rates among state employees. So drop membership continued to be a problem. That was one of the reasons we talked about targeting employees with 1 more years of service. TPEA plans to diversify its outreach to include more state agencies and in more regions across the state. TPEA is in good financial condition, but outsized investments in real estate that cannot easily be converted to cash create a need to reevaluate the facilities plan and diversify the investment strategy. TPEA relies on rental income at 2 commercial properties to supplement member dues, but business tenants have downsized and moved workers off-site, making rental income less reliable source of support. So goal number 5 is to strengthen the financial and operational efficiency of the association. The objectives, TPEA will hire an investment advisor to build a diversified investment strategy and to ensure the association has 6 months of operating revenues in cash reserves. TPEA will develop facilities plan that meets changing our organizational needs, and will create monthly program dashboards for internal tracking and improvement. Now, that summarizes the plan. We'll get into more detail and specifics later on after the plan is adopted. Ann, did you want to add anything at this point?
I think you did a great job in covering it. And
Okay.
other than thanking the committee and the members for their participation, and also the employees and retirees who filled out the surveys and were a part of the focus groups.
I too would like to thank everybody who participated in the program, and I will take any questions if you have any at this point. Otherwise, we would ask the board to adopt and approve the plan. Any questions?
We have a motion.
I so moved. You want me to say it? This is, I can read it. I move that the Texas Public Employees Association, the TPEA Board of Directors, approve the 2022 to 2026 strategic plan as presented by the Strategic Planning Committee.
All in favor?
Aye.
all I heard, I'm not going to say all I heard, I listened very well, but I heard 25 meetings in 26 hours, all of it on Zoom. And the physical, you get to meet people in person. Ann said face-to-face meetings is the best way. There's the body language, the trust that's built, the feelings you get, the informal conversations. When you're doing things on Zoom, it's formal and you're cautious. And for them to, look at that plan, the details and the work that went into it, 25 meetings in 26 hours. I'm impressed, and I'm very grateful to that team. Thank you, guys. And with that, we're going to go into the President's Award. So every year, the president, at the end of his term, or her term, has the honor to recognize a few people. And this year, I would like Mr. Golson to come up here. Come on up, Joe. Also joining us on Zoom is Eddie Reyes, and a round of applause for him as well. As Mr. Golson has just demonstrated, TPEA has gained critical insights from the strategic planning process, which will propel our organization forward to a brighter future. Eddie Reyes and Joe Golson volunteered as co-chairs of the Strategic Planning Committee, coordinating meetings, organizing information, and leading discussions about TPEA's mission and goals. Eddie, Joe, and the rest of the volunteer committee, George Ebert, Ted Miller, and Carrie Summerfield, generously dedicated their time for the betterment of TPEA so that we can best fulfill our mission of advocating for the state employees and retirees of Texas. I want to recognize Joe Golson for his dedication and expert leadership, which was instrumental in TPEA's strategic planning efforts. I want to recognize Eddie Reyes, whose encouragement and enthusiasm kept the committee going and continues to inspire TPEA's staff. Thank you very much. All right. Ann, can you join me? So I also chose Ann Bishop to receive the President's Award, which I don't know that that's ever been done before. But I have been so impressed. We've talked a little bit about leadership and what I've witnessed this year through the pandemic, and her just on the beginning of her role as our new executive director and all that she's faced. I'm honored to have witnessed what she's accomplished. She not only put this association on a path of survival, which was questionable when the pandemic started. She's propelled it with strategy and sound plans and guidance, and her leadership. I'm just excited to see what happens with this association as we move forward. I'm most impressed. And on her award, it reads, 2020, TPEA witnessed a leadership moment where a culmination of strong character, sharp wit, vast experience, and leadership grace saved our beloved association. Thank you, Ann.